What if I told you there is a machine, no engine, no solar panel, no battery, no fuel, that can pump water uphill, continuously, for decades, using nothing but the water itself? Not a concept, not a prototype, a real device, one that has been doing exactly this since 1796, and you can build one this weekend for under $200. It's called a hydraulic ram pump, and the fact that it isn't on every rural homestead, every off-grid farm, every hillside property in the world, that's a story worth telling. Here is the standard solution if you need water moved from a stream or pond up to your house, your garden, your animals: an electric pump or a gasoline pump. You run a power line or you run a fuel line. You install it, you maintain it, you replace it when it fails, and it will fail. The motor burns out, the impeller corrodes, the fuel goes bad in the line over winter, and every single day it runs, it costs you something: electricity, fuel, or both. You are permanently tethered to a supply chain to move water that is already flowing right there on your land. But there is actually a way to use the energy that is already in that flowing water to move some of it uphill without adding any energy at all. The river does the work. You just need to know how to ask it. In 1796, a French inventor named Joseph Michel Montgolfier, yes, the same Montgolfier family behind the hot air balloon, was living on his estate in the Auvergne region of France. He had a stream running through his property lower than his house. He needed water up at the house. He had no electric grid because it was 1796. He had no diesel pump. What he had was a problem and a very good understanding of physics. What he invented is almost absurdly simple when you understand it. He called it a bélier hydraulique, a hydraulic ram. Within 3 years, his brother Jacques refined the design into something remarkably close to what people build today. They patented it in 1797. Within decades, hydraulic rams were pumping water across Europe, into country estates, into mills, into mining operations. The Victorians used them extensively. There are documented installations in the United Kingdom from the 1800s that ran, without meaningful maintenance, for over 50 years. This is not a fringe technology. This is not a forgotten folk technique. This is a machine with a 200-year pedigree, documented in every major fluid mechanics textbook, still manufactured commercially today by companies like Rife Hydraulic and Green and Carter. There is nothing hidden about the hydraulic ram pump. The physics are published, the math is solved, the designs are open. So why does almost nobody use one? We'll get there. Here is the core principle, and once you hear it, you won't forget it. Imagine you're running down a hallway and you hit a closed door. Your body stops, but the momentum you had doesn't just vanish. It has to go somewhere. It slams into the door, it shakes the walls, it sends a shockwave back through the floor. Now imagine you are water flowing down a pipe. The hydraulic ram pump does exactly one thing. It slams that door, suddenly, deliberately, and it harvests the shockwave.
This is called water hammer, and normally engineers spend enormous effort eliminating it because in conventional plumbing it can rupture pipes. The ram pump is the one device in the world specifically designed to make water hammer happen on purpose, over and over again, hundreds of times per minute, and capture the pressure spike it creates. Here is the cycle, step by step. Water flows in from your source, a stream, a spring, a pond, down a pipe called the drive pipe. It flows through a valve called the waste valve, which is held open by the flowing water. As the water speeds up, the flow eventually becomes strong enough to snap the waste valve shut, hard, fast. That sudden stop creates a pressure wave, a hammer that travels back up the drive pipe. But before it can fully dissipate, the pump redirects that spike of pressure through a second valve, the delivery valve, into a sealed air chamber. The air chamber acts like a spring. It absorbs the pressure spike and smooths it into a steady, continuous push. That push drives water up your delivery pipe, to your house, your tank, your garden, potentially dozens of meters higher than your source. Then the waste valve falls open again. Water flows in again. The cycle repeats, endlessly. As long as water flows in, the pump pumps out. There is no motor, there is no fuel, there is just momentum, a valve, and a column of air. The thermodynamics here are real and important. The pump is not creating energy from nothing. That would violate the laws of physics, and this channel doesn't deal in fantasy.
What it is doing is trading volume for pressure. For every liter of water it lifts to your house, it lets roughly 6 to 12 liters escape through the waste valve. You are sacrificing some water to lift the rest higher. The total energy budget is balanced. No magic, just physics. Let's make this concrete. A properly sized hydraulic ram pump operating on a 2-meter fall, meaning your source is only 2 meters above the pump, can lift water to a height of 10 to 15 meters. That's the roof of a 3-story building. With a 4-meter fall, you can reach 25 to 30 meters. With a 10-meter fall, you can pump water over 100 meters higher than your source. The efficiency ratio, the fall height to the delivery height, typically runs around 5 to 8 to 1. Every 1 meter of fall you give it, you get 5 to 8 meters of lift. That's not a theoretical maximum, that's routine operating performance in well-documented installations. Flow rates depend on your source flow and your pipe diameter. A modest installation with a 1-inch drive pipe can deliver 500 to 1,500 liters per day, enough for a household's non-potable water needs, livestock watering, or garden irrigation. Larger diameter installations with strong source flow can deliver tens of thousands of liters per day. The cost of a commercially manufactured ram pump starts around $300 to $800 depending on size. A well-executed DIY build using PVC pipe and standard plumbing fittings can come in under $50. The drive pipe, the check valves, the pressure vessel, all standard hardware store components. The operating cost, once installed, $0. No electricity, no fuel, no moving parts except 2 valves that can be replaced for a few dollars each. Compare that to a submersible electric pump, $200 to $500 to purchase, ongoing electricity costs, and a typical lifespan of 5 to 10 years before the motor fails. The ram pump, properly installed, has documented lifespans of 30 to 50 years. Some of the Victorian installations ran longer than that. The math is genuinely stark. So the physics work. The history is 200 years long. The cost is a fraction of modern alternatives. The operating expense is $0. It requires no grid connection, no fuel delivery, no professional installation. Why isn't this thing everywhere? Why isn't this the default answer on every piece of land with a flowing water source? The answer here isn't a conspiracy. It's more mundane and in some ways more frustrating than that. The hydraulic ram pump died, at least in mainstream use, for 2 straightforward reasons. First, rural electrification. In the United States, the Rural Electrification Act of 1936 extended power grid access to farms and rural communities at heavily subsidized rates. When electricity became cheap and ubiquitous, the electric pump became the obvious solution. It was simpler to install, worked anywhere regardless of whether you had a flowing stream, and required less site-specific engineering. The ram pump wasn't suppressed. It was outcompeted by cheap fossil fuel energy. Second, the hydraulic ram pump requires a specific site condition that not everyone has. You need a flowing water source with some vertical drop. A flat property with a still pond can't use one. So even in a world where people wanted the technology, not every property qualifies. Those are the real reasons. And here is why that actually matters for you today. Both of those conditions have changed. Electricity is no longer cheap. Grid power costs have risen steadily across most of the developed world over the past 2 decades, and rural properties often pay premium rates or face significant costs for extending grid service. Diesel fuel is expensive, volatile in price, and requires ongoing supply chains. The economic logic that made the electric pump obviously superior in 1950 is considerably weaker in 2024. And millions of rural and semi-rural properties worldwide do have flowing water sources with usable vertical drop. Properties that could be running a ram pump right now for free are instead paying monthly electricity bills to pump water. The knowledge didn't disappear entirely, but it fell out of mainstream awareness. It stopped being taught in standard agricultural extension programs. It stopped being sold at farm supply stores, and a generation of rural landowners grew up not knowing it existed as an option. That's the gap this video is filling. Here is the cleanest way to understand why the ram pump isn't on every shelf at the hardware store. There is almost no recurring revenue in it. You buy it once, or you build it yourself. You install it, it runs. For 30 years. Nobody sells you electricity for it. Nobody sells you fuel for it. Nobody sells you replacement motors or compressor heads or control boards. The maintenance is 2 check valves that cost a few dollars and last years. That's not a complaint about the industry, it's just a description of the economics. Products that generate recurring revenue, monthly electric bills, annual fuel costs, periodic professional service, get marketed, distributed, and recommended far more aggressively than products that you buy once and never need to buy again. The ram pump is a brilliant product from the perspective of the person using it. It is a terrible product from the perspective of a business trying to build a recurring revenue stream. That asymmetry shapes what gets recommended, what gets stocked, what gets taught. Let's talk about how you actually build one of these. The simplest functional ram pump requires 4 main components: a drive pipe, a waste valve, a delivery valve, and an air chamber. That's it, 2 valves and 2 pipes connected to a pressure vessel. Your drive pipe is the pipe that brings water from your source down to the pump. This needs to be rigid pipe, not flexible hose, because the water hammer effect needs the pipe itself to stay firm. Standard Schedule 40 PVC works well for lower pressure applications. The diameter depends on your source flow, but 1-inch to 2-inch pipe covers most residential applications. The length of your drive pipe matters. As a rule of thumb, the drive pipe should be at least 5 times the head, the vertical drop, in length. So if you have 2 meters of fall, you want at least 10 meters of drive pipe. This gives the water hammer enough distance to develop properly. Your waste valve is a standard swing check valve, mounted in line on the pump body so it can open downward and be slammed shut by the water flow. You want a brass or stainless steel valve here, not PVC, because this valve is taking thousands of impacts per day and needs to hold up. Your delivery valve is a second check valve, oriented to open toward the delivery pipe. This is the valve that cracks open during the pressure spike and lets water through to your air chamber. The air chamber is a capped section of pipe or a dedicated pressure vessel that holds compressed air. The air compresses when pressure spikes, then pushes the water out steadily between pulses. A capped section of 1-inch pipe, about a foot long, serves as a basic air chamber for small installations. For larger flow rates, a purpose-built pressure vessel gives better performance. For a complete, free, open-source set of plans and sizing calculations, the AID International Hydraulic Ram Pump Manual is available online and has been used to build functional pumps around the world for decades. It covers drive pipe sizing, valve selection, troubleshooting, and installation. It is free, it is detailed, it has photographs. For your source setup, you need a settling tank or filter at your intake to keep sediment out of the valves. A simple barrel with a screened inlet placed at your water source, elevated slightly to give you your fall, is enough for most installations. Clean water in means a long-lived pump. Cold climate note. If you're in a freeze zone, your drive pipe needs to be buried below frost depth, and your pump housing needs to be insulated or placed in a structure that won't freeze. The pump itself can handle cold water. Ice is a different problem. This technology is not for everyone, and I want to be straight with you about that. You need a flowing water source, not a pond, not a cistern, a stream, spring, or other continuously flowing source with enough volume to feed the pump. If your property doesn't have that, this isn't your solution. You need vertical drop. If your water source is on flat ground, or if it's already higher than your house, the ram pump can't help you. The fall height is what provides the energy.
The water it delivers is not purified. It's the same water from your stream moved to a higher location. If you're using it for drinking water, you still need filtration and treatment appropriate for your source. For irrigation, livestock, or non-potable household uses, this may not matter at all. Installation takes real work. Running a drive pipe from your water source to the pump location, burying it properly, setting up your settling tank, plumbing the delivery pipe to your storage tank. This is a full day's work minimum, often more. It is not a weekend afternoon project. It is infrastructure. But it is infrastructure that, once built, works without you for decades. And the flow rate, while useful, is not enormous. If you need to fill a large reservoir quickly, a ram pump alone may be too slow. For continuous, modest delivery, keeping a storage tank topped up, watering a garden, supplying livestock, it is often exactly right. Know your site. Do your math.
The resources exist to calculate exactly what a ram pump can deliver on your specific property before you spend a dollar. A lot of what this channel covers was nearly lost, not because it stopped working, but because the industry moved on to something more profitable to sell you. If rediscovering the lost art of high-performance, decentralized energy matters to you, subscribing and sharing is the simplest way to make sure this kind of knowledge keeps being found. And if you want to see how a rocket mass heater can heat an entire home through a Scandinavian winter using a fraction of the wood a conventional stove burns, storing hours of warmth in a thermal mass bench you sit on, then you need to watch our video on rocket mass heaters right here. The physics are just as counterintuitive, and the results are just as real.